What's up, guys? Time to show off a cool build. This is one of my compass dials. I haven't done one of these in a while. This one came in brass, but I put it in brass ager, made sure the whole thing was like pitch black, polished it a bit, which is everything here in the background. Gives it kind of a grayish black tone. And then I sanded it to expose everything that was raised. So everything throughout here is your raised indices. And then went around and pipped it. You can only pip, obviously, 1, 2, 4, 5, 7, 8, and 10, 11. So then I did the opposite, doing 12, 3, 6, 9 on the vintage compass bezel. It's distressed bezel. I sanded it slightly just to get it back to that brass-esque looking color. It will patina over time. It is brass. But then just pipped around through here as well. We have a custom painted black handset. We did it kind of in a distressed look. The black's a little sharp here, but it's not as sharp out at the loom areas. And then a standard black second sand. Brushed case. It's milled, so if you ever get a scratch in it, just kind of try and brush it in one direction. Just a classic crown on here. Milled case back. We took a stock case back and then milled it. Has a real cool looking design in the back. And then to go along with everything, you have a super thick wristband strap with, try to do oversized holes here. I will get into that in a second. Lasered with your compass on here, and a distressed brass preview buckle. So this is extra thick. So once you figure out what hole you want, you might waller it out just a little bit more. I bent this a little bit straighter so it won't catch. We'll see how that works. And this is very thick leather, so if it's getting caught, just give it a little bit of a pull, because all it's doing is it's catching against the flat part on the case. If you give it a little pull, then it moves. So let's drop it down into that one. Let's bend this camera up a little bit so I'm not pointing straight down. So let's act like we just put it on our wrist. It's on. And then we want to take it back off. Comes right out. Alright, I bent it to where that hook before was catching. Man, was it tough to get out of there. So, bezel in this will turn left, it'll turn right. It is a tension ring vintage bezel. Though you won't bump it very much because it is inset. So unless you're wanting to move it, you pretty much have to grab it. Do I have something on there? What is this? What is this? I reworked some loom right here, so I might just need to rub on this a little bit. So do this off camera where I can put the camera up on my shoulder. Or I'm sorry, not the camera, put the light up on my shoulder. And just rub it off. Apparently the air wasn't working. So there we go. I reworked some loom and some debris came off. So that's just the flakes from it. So that is the build. As I referenced, the bezel will turn left, it'll turn right. It's not really going to move unless you want it to, because you have to kind of pinch grab it because it is not right on the edge. So it's a vintage coin. Anyway, automatic mechanical. You've got a rotor back here. You just can't see it. You can wind it. You can wear it. You can put it in a watch winder. But if you're not going to be very active, make sure you wind it. Actually, you just want to wind it a little bit before you put it on, regardless. Because unless you're active in moving that rotor back and forth, it's going to stop on you. So back the crown off the threads until you hear it and feel it clicking. At that point, you can wind. And a wind is a turn away from you. Turning it towards you doesn't do anything, but it's a lot easier to keep your finger spacing and just go back and forth. If you do that for 4 or 5 seconds before you put it on, even if you're not very active, you'll keep time throughout the day. And if you do this for something closer to 15 seconds, you're going to max out your 31-hour power reserve on it. You cannot overwind it, so don't worry about that. When you're happy with your winding, you're going to pull it to the 1 and only click, and you can now set your time. It does not have a hacking movement, so don't worry about that. It's going to keep going. You'll also notice you've got a wobble crown. This deflects lateral pressure from one end of the stem and into the movement, so when you're pushing and prying on it, you're not putting any adverse pressure on anything. Okay, Google, what time is it? 2:35, I knew it was somewhere around there. When you're good, you're going to push it over, just get it out of that time setting, and then wind it down. There's your build. As you notice, this build comes with a matching carabiner style key clip. These are just as expensive, well, they're close, as the strap, so you have a good extra value here. Obviously keychain, and then your push-in carabiner. Also lasered to match. Matching beads, done by the wife. Coming in a brown BVW Special Edition box. This will come with watch cleaner. This is a foamer. This is good for all glass and metal, so everything here in the center. Non-streaking, non-toxic, non-residue, along with the microfiber for it. Leather conditioner to keep this strap perfectly soft. Apply it on the front and back. Remove any excess. Let it soak in. Use a rag or whatever you'd apply leather conditioner with. Don't use a microfiber. It's just if this is ever not as soft. It is thick. If you find that even though this is straight, it is still holding up in there, put some leather conditioner in that hole. Waller it out just a little bit more. Legit, I use a drill bit. I feed it from the back side, just an oversized, and make sure you're spinning it as you pull it out, because if you just go through one direction and kind of stop or whatever, you'll pucker it that direction. So if anything, you want puckering on the back side, and you can just kind of push down. So I just go through and then pull it back, because these are normally like 3mm, and I need them closer to 4.5 with these preview buckles. But then when it's extra thick, it makes it even tougher. So I straighten this out a little bit, and it's doing well. But you'll know where it fits well on you. So if it's the third one up, add some leather conditioner there, waller it out just a little bit. You just want to make sure you can get it off easily. You know, you are using one hand to get it off. It's a lot easier for me to put these together and take them apart when I'm looking at doing two hands and looking at it right in front of me. When it's on your wrist, it's a different story. So if you have any issue, this will help you as well. And then lastly, some fine scratch remover. This is Novus 2 from Amazon, just repackaged. It's like Polywatch. It is for your acrylic glass because you can scratch it. But if you do, no big deal. You put a tiny bit of this on it and buff it out using your included and matching microfiber. If the scratch is up and down, go left and right, haze it, buff it, and then it should be gone. If it's not, let that solidify a little bit and then revisit it, build it back up. You're just rebuilding up the acrylic that you scraped out, so it might take a couple times. Just don't scratch it, but if you do, you're covered. So that's the build. If it's going to you, I hope you love it. A little more expensive than most, just because you're going to have a matching here. You have lasered leather, and sooner or later I'm not going to be able to get these vintage bezels anymore, but until then I've got a few. So hope you love it. And if you want me to build you something custom and unique for those who are watching who might not be getting in on this one, reach out and I'll see what I can do. This should be in the waffle event today at 7 p.m. Eastern. So, as well as the other distressed Kraken and that full loom baby blue, which I might not have mentioned that in there. I don't even know if anybody listens to these at the end, but if they do, thanks for hanging out. I appreciate you as a person, as a customer, as a friend, whatever you are to me. I appreciate it, and I hope you love this watch. So that's the build. If you want to continue to see videos like this, like and subscribe, as I put them up all the time. Thanks for hanging out, guys.